Welcome to Group 2's presentation on the impact of emergency online virtual instruction during the COVID era. Members of this group include Brittany Bell, Natalie Booker, Alicia Briggs, Melyssa Dawson, and Jacob Dahl. As schools and universities were forced to transition to remote learning almost overnight, educators faced an immense challenge in adapting their teaching methods, while students grappled with new models of learning. This shift, although essential for public health, had profound effects on student engagement, academic performance, and overall well-being. Research indicates that while some students thrived in flexible online environment, many others experienced disruptions in their learning, with notable increases in feelings of isolation, difficulty accessing resources, and challenges with time management. Furthermore, disparities in technology access and internet connectivity created a digital divide, exacerbating educational inequities. Some guided questions to think about during this presentation include: what factors contribute to the digital divide in education, and how do they impact student access to online learning? And how do communities and educators support students who lack access to a quiet, dedicated space for learning?
The switch to online learning during COVID-19 greatly affected students' motivation and sense of community. This study, Effects of Emergency Online Learning During COVID-19 Pandemic on Student Performance and Connectedness by Christy Boardman, was done at a liberal arts college with 109 undergraduate students. A majority of these students had never been enrolled in an online class prior to COVID-19, so this was their introduction to online learning. This challenged students' feelings of connectedness as well as also heavily tested their motivation. During this difficult process, professors tried to keep a sense of stability by using tools like Zoom. "67.65% of students felt very or extremely connected to their educational community while learning face-to-face. When switching to online learning, only 5.88% felt very connected, while 0% felt extremely connected. Online school relies on self-motivation. In order for students to feel motivated, it's important that they feel self-determined. This is next to impossible if they don't feel connected to their peers and their teachers. Professors are a large motivator for a student's motivation in class. Without this, students will not benefit much from the class. "95% of students felt a sense of motivation while partaking in face-to-face classes. After switching to online classes, only 59% felt a sense of motivation. Only 28% of students felt that they had put in the same amount of effort in both face-to-face and online classes. Due to lack of motivation, attendance in these online classes plummeted. Low motivation and lack of attendance also leads to lowered academic success. The participants in this study found when the online learning environment was similar to their in-person classes, or when the professor seemingly put in a lot of effort, their motivation increased."
The COVID-19 pandemic triggered an unprecedented and rapid shift to online education, compelling schools and universities worldwide to adapt to remote learning models almost overnight. This transition, while necessary for public health reasons, highlighted and exacerbated pre-existing inequalities, particularly in access to technology and digital literacy. Examining the digital divide in education during COVID-19 explores these disparities, examining how unequal access to digital tools and varying levels of digital competency among students and teachers significantly impacted educational outcomes during the pandemic and continues to influence education even after schools have partially returned to in-person settings. Data collected from 36 K-12 teachers using the Likert scale and open-ended questions revealed that a lack of resources in ICT IT skills significantly impacted online education, particularly for students from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. The shift to online learning during COVID-19 revealed significant challenges stemming from the digital divide. These challenges can be categorized into two main areas: access and skills. The first level, digital divide, or lack of access to essential technology and reliable internet, created significant obstacles for students from lower income families who were unable to fully engage with virtual instruction. This inequity meant that many students fell behind simply because they lacked the tools to participate. The second level, digital divide, focusing on the skills needed to use technology efficiently or effectively, added another challenge for students. According to the teachers and the research, even when students had access to devices and internet, many lacked the proficiency to use online learning platforms or integrate digital tools into learning effectively. This research illustrates how socioeconomic status affects students' access to technology and educational opportunities. The study reveals that approximately 58% of students came from lower socioeconomic status backgrounds, as statistics inferred from the average percentage of students eligible for free and reduced price lunch programs across the school included in the research. Students from lower income families often lack essential devices or reliable internet connections, and they also do not have family members that can teach them how to utilize technology, creating a huge barrier for students in particular socioeconomic standings.
The shift to emergency online instruction during COVID-19 revealed deep inequalities in digital access. Students lacking reliable internet or devices faced significant challenges, intensifying educational disparities. Schools and policymakers had to implement rapid solutions, including technology distribution and community partnerships, to ensure digital inclusion. This experience underscored the ongoing need for systemic reforms to bridge gaps in access and digital literacy. There were a few factors that impacted the digital divide on education. These include limited access to online learning, lower academic achievement, and other long-term effects. The limited access to online learning included disruptions during remote learning. The lower academic achievement involved students without technology facing challenges in completing assignments, and other long-term effects included the difficulty in completing work within a digital economy. Other key challenges include infrastructure limitations in rural or economically disadvantaged areas, the high cost of devices and internet plans for families who could not afford them, and digital literacy disparities among students and teachers. The future of education and technology access brings a few factors. Hybrid learning models could be more inclusive with proper technology access. Potential of AI and EdTech could bring personalized learning for all students, as well as lesson creating opportunities for teachers, and the role of policy in creating equitable technology access for all students.
In the article, The Post-Pandemic's Digital Learning Landscape, author John Watson identifies several misconceptions about online learning, with a focus on the following four. 1. Emergency remote learning was not online learning. 2. Online and hybrid learning take many forms. 3. Students and families choose these options for various reasons. And 4. Innovation isn't about technology. This chart, contrasting emergency remote learning and online learning, was included in Watson's article. Notice especially how online instruction involves small subsets of teachers and students and much planning. Most pertinent to our discussion of the digital divide are Watson's comments about hybrid learning. Hybrid schools combine online instruction with a formal, physical setting that students attend regularly, although not every day. Students who may not have ready access to the necessary technology at home can still participate in the benefits of online learning through a hybrid program. This narrows the gap in the digital divide, if students and parents are interested. Watson says many are. Hybrid schools, in particular, often find that, at first, they attract non-traditional students, but over time enroll an increasing number of mainstream students who are drawn by the benefits of an innovative school. Hybrid online learning is a feasible, practical way for communities and educators to support students who lack access to a quiet, dedicated space for learning.
There are challenges presented by the digital divide. After transitioning to emergency online learning, students felt disconnected from their classmates. Additionally, during the pandemic, some students felt very connected to their professors, while others did not. Furthermore, several students revealed that when their online classes began, they felt that their professors were no longer available for frequent instruction. Due to emergency online learning, students were also unable to physically interact with their classmates, resulting in a significant decrease in social connections among students. Similarly, these students could not participate in college events because of both the pandemic and emergency online learning. Another challenge presented by the digital divide is that several researchers and studies have found that during emergency online learning sessions, students experience a decrease in learning and an absence of high-quality teaching. Moreover, students did not regularly participate in their online classes, were not engaged in the learning process, and suffered from a deterioration of their mental health. And a third and final challenge presented by the divide is that during the pandemic, emergency online learning consisted of remote learning that had to be incorporated into curriculums very quickly. Thus, this form of education was not as well planned as forms of hybrid online learning programs. Despite the challenges presented by the digital divide, there are opportunities for overcoming them. For example, the use of emails, discussion boards, and Zoom calls during emergency online learning sessions allowed students to remain connected with their teachers, professors, and classmates. And a second opportunity for overcoming the challenges presented by the digital divide was that online campus activities allow college students to still interact with their classmates in colleges. So potentially in the future, students, whether they are college students or high school students, and even middle school students, can still participate in emergency online learning sessions and be a regular part of their campus by participating in online campus activities, as long as those campuses do invest in those types of activities. There are also strategies for resolving the digital divide. For instance, utilizing Zoom as a method of ensuring that students remain connected with their instructors and classmates during future periods of emergency online learning can be utilized as a strategy for resolving the issues presented by the digital divide. A second strategy that could potentially resolve the digital divide is the use of discussion boards to help students have conversations that usually occur in in-person class sessions. So during future periods of emergency online learning, students will still be able to communicate with each other via these discussion boards. And these discussion boards can be provided by both teachers and professors. And the third and final strategy for resolving the digital divide is by allowing educators to regularly communicate with their students via email or Zoom. Since one of the main concern of students during the pandemic was that they felt disconnected from the professors. So by regularly communicating with their students via email or Zoom, educators can still interact and communicate with their students to answer any questions that they may not have assessments or assignments.
This concludes our presentation on the impact of emergency online virtual instruction during the COVID era. On this slide are our citations. We hope you enjoyed.